to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go!
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition. Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod and our special episode this week. We've got our old friend Francis back here with us as a special guest to join us in a chat about the new Jedi Order, which is an era that has been announced and it's official, and there's a movie coming or two, and we're just going to be doing some speculation based on what stories we have to work with and draw some comparisons with the old new Jedi Order from the old expanded universe and see what kind of things would be cool if they brought over. So, without further ado, let's join our co-host Blake in the escape pod and dive right in.
Another happy landing.
All right, welcome back. Hello, Blake.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
I was just thinking, it's been a hot minute since we heard the original soundtrack to the podcast.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
now,
Oh my goodness, it feels like a while.
Yeah. And welcome.
I still have a preference to it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're 300 episodes in.
To be fair, I mean, who wouldn't, right? But welcome back, Francis. Hello.
Hello.
It's been a little while. When was the last episode that people heard you on?
Oh, good God.
Was that a lightsaber episode?
It would either be lightsabers or when we talked about the top books.
Oh yeah, I think that may have been it actually. Like it was like the top Star Wars books in our opinions. You know.
Yeah, I think that was the end of December.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So today we're kind of talking about more books and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's sort of all inclusive. You know, we're talking a little bit about books, talking a little bit about movies, a little bit about some plans that they have, coming at us, and thought it might be interesting to dive right into this stuff. So, first things first, some small thing to note is the Disney canon era, if you will, like Star Wars, StarWars.com. I think it was like a year or two ago that they revealed this timeline, of eras, and it's on the StarWars.com website where you can see like the names for the different eras, and I think, what's this one called? Is it? Here you go. So if you go to StarWars.com and then you go to Databank, you click eras at the very bottom, and all the names for all the eras are there. So there is Dawn of the Jedi, the Old Republic, the High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, the New Republic, Rise of the First Order, and New Jedi Order. So those are all the eras. And in the old expanded universe, it was a little different. Like they had like different like labels for the different eras and stuff like that. Except the New Jedi Order era was always very. It's kind of the same. Like they kept the name very, very much identical to how it was before. Even the logo is actually very kind of reminiscent as well. But you've read some of the old expanded universe New Jedi Order era books before the Disney takeover, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like in a nutshell, just like, what did you think of that series, and like, just how did you like that book series?
Oh God, it's been a hot sec.
Did you enjoy Yuuzhan Vong? Start simple.
Yeah.
Because they were a little out of left field.
The first book in the series is called Vector Prime, and it's written by R.A. Salvatore, and it came out on October 5th, 1999, and it introduces the Yuuzhan Vong and their plans to dominate the galaxy. So, yeah.
They did feel, I remember reading those books. It's been a couple of years now, but I remember reading them and thinking, who the hell are these people?
Yeah. They never
it
seemed
felt like
Star Wars to me, but
yeah.
I get they're trying to change it up.
It really felt like they were trying to, at first, kind of like shoehorn them in and kind of make it kind of felt like what a lot of modern stories are doing, and it kind of felt like they were doing their own story that they wanted to write and their own kind of like little universe, but they couldn't get it approved, so they chose to do it in Star Wars. And it kind of just felt like, we made this really cool story, but we're gonna put it into the Star Wars universe just to kind of like shoehorn it in.
Use the IP.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like I think as it progressed, it definitely came together a bit better. After reading more of it, it was generally, I think it got better written as the books went on.
Yeah, there's some good authors in it. Like James
Yeah.
Luceno wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the 4th and 5th book in the series. They had Matthew Stover, who's known as the author of Revenge of the Sith, a novelization. He wrote one of the books in the middle of the series there as well. By the way, this is a really long series of books. Like this was between 19 and like 21 books or something like that.
Yeah. And these are like adult books?
Yeah, these are adult books. They spanned from October 99, so the same year that The Phantom Menace came out and hit
I did
screens.
not know that.
And it went all the way until 2000. Actually, I say all the way. It went until 2003. So it went for a couple
Wait,
years.
how many books in 4 years?
It was like almost 21 books.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know there were 20 books. I read like 6 or 7.
Probably not alone. That's a lot of books.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And then Troy Denning capped off the era with the Dark Nest trilogy. So, and those technically are in the era that's the Troy Denning, Dark Nest 1, 2, and 3. But they kick things off with a bang. R.A. Salvatore with Vector Prime right out of the gate. This is the book that is known inside the EU as the book that killed Chewbacca.
Oh,
And,
right. And they crushed him with a moon.
Yeah, like a planet landed on him or something.
Yeah, that's
you know?
like so well known across just like the fan base. 'Cause it's just so ridiculous.
It is, yeah. So
they did what?
it made its way into an article in Star Wars Insider number 83 called 20 Most Memorable Moments Across the Expanded Universe. And I think at some point it might be worth like looking into that.
I heard a story about this, about why they picked Chewbacca. Because they asked Lucasfilm, they said like they want to have a big moment, they want like a character to die. And so they asked Lucasfilm for a list of which characters they're allowed to kill in this moment. And for some reason, Chewbacca was on the list of eligible characters to be killed. And so naturally they took Chewbacca.
Yeah, of course.
Because why wouldn't you if he's there?
He's like the biggest one on the list.
I know, like I feel like that was a mistake.
I feel like maybe he acted like maybe it was the other way around. Maybe they made a list and they're like, hey, anyone not on this list,
Right, it's like
you can kill.
Chewbacca and Han.
And it's like they
Leia.
forgot about Chewbacca. It's like how they forgot to give him a medal.
That's right.
That's true. That's
What is it about Chewbacca that people keep? He's like massive, dude. How can you miss him? You know?
This honestly, this just keeps happening. I can't help but feel like George does not care about Chewbacca as much as we do as fans.
Definitely not.
Definitely. But yeah, so anyway, Vector Prime sort of set this idea of like, okay, this is going to be a dark era. This is going to be a dark period of time for Luke's new Jedi Order, you know, which he has been building in the previous era in the expanded universe, which was the New Republic era, I believe. And that also was the same era that they had the Young Jedi Knights series take place. That was the Kevin J. Anderson, Rebecca Mosta books. It was like a young adult series of Jason and Jaina Solo as kids in Luke's Jedi Academy. And I read 2 volumes of these books, and they were fantastic. They were really, really good. So like this is what follows that up. So we're going like taking a real dark turn to this.
Before we go too far, I do want to ask Francis one question about the Yuuzhan Vong era, and because I heard this somewhere, but I don't know if it was true for this or if it was some other thing I heard it about. When the Yuuzhan Vong show up from outside the Star Wars galaxy?
Yeah, they're from outer what's it called?
Wasn't one of the Beyond the Outer Rim?
The unknown regions.
The unknown
Right.
regions. Yes.
But I heard the story that the reason why Palpatine made the Empire is because he sensed that was coming. Was that part of that, or is this just something else entirely?
This is ringing a bell in my head.
Yeah, because it was like, admittedly, I thought that was a really cool storyline. I think it is.
It's either a really popular theory.
It might just be a theory.
This rings a bell with the
it's-
new Thrawn books.
It's ringing a bell.
Yeah, the new Thrawn books, I think, was introducing the idea that there was an alien race that the Chiss were fighting off called the Grisks. I think it was the Grisks, I believe it was, and that's why he wanted Thrawn, because it was like this connection to the workings outside of the normal area of the galaxy that he was familiar with. So he wanted an advisor in a way that was like kind of able to aid him in that way, right? And that's why he's like one of the only non-humans that work in the Empire. Was that he had like
He's also just super competent.
Yeah, but he also had something that no one else could offer in that sense, and he had like a connection to this place, and so that might be what you're thinking of, possibly.
No, I don't think so. But
Okay.
I
mean,
I'm
that
pretty
idea's
sure it was a
also been
Yuuzhan
thrown
Vong
around
thing.
quite a bit
Yeah.
over the years.
Because it's a cool idea, and I feel like it adds this like little bit of humanity to Palpatine instead of just being evil for the sake of being evil.
Well, because I know that like in some of the earlier Legends books, where we're talking about like Old Republic era, there was kind of that prophecy that was like that something from beyond the galaxy was coming, and the old Jedi thought that it was like the return of the Sith, and like they kind of rewrote it so that it was like the Sith Emperor, but there was always kind of like hints that there was something beyond him from beyond the Outer Rim. So I think that idea just keeps coming back because it's really interesting. So I think that a similar kind of thing might be applying here.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's always been theories about Palpatine's like premonitions about, there's always been something greater than himself that he's always wanted to defend himself against, like obviously he was a little shaken, I think, when he discovered that the Chosen One had been brought into the Jedi Order, and this is the guy that's supposed to bring balance to the Force. Like, what does that mean for a Sith Lord, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So like, what better way to combat that than to corrupt the guy and make him an asset, right? And like that's just the way of things, and that's how he does things. So like, he's not a courageous fellow. He's a fellow. He's a guy that essentially lives in fear, so he drenches himself in it. And it's like
Palpatine?
Yeah,
I don't know if I ever saw him as fearful.
I think he is a fearful guy. I think that's why a lot of Sith Lords become Sith Lords, is because they are afraid. Like they're.
I thought Palpatine's whole thing, at least in canon, is just that he just loves power and just being evil for the sake of evil. That's why I like this kind of this EU storyline.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. I've always looked at him as a guy who was like deep down he was afraid. I think he was always afraid of like what could like topple him over, right?
I would agree with that, because a lot of Palpatine's stories are about him kind of facing his own mortality, and one of his big motivations in a lot of some of the sequel books from the original trilogy is him like in a lot of his conversations with like Darth Plagueis is him trying to find ways to become immortal and to live forever, because he didn't want to ever be without power, or he didn't want to ever have someone who was greater than him.
It's also just a classic Sith move too, though.
That's true. It's true.
But it's like
we also
it's
have
like what he says, like all who gain power are afraid to lose it.
Right.
yeah.
Even he uses it against Anakin as a like even the Jedi, right? But he lives by that. Like he is also afraid to lose his power. Like he is afraid.
Because he also made all those clones. He also made besides just the clone initiative, not like the clones. I mean like the clones of him.
Yeah.
And
Rise of Skywalker clones.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There were a lot of other like projects behind the scenes that he was doing to make one way or another for him to come back and to return and to never die, to never lose the empire that he built.
Yeah.
So I think there is an aspect of like fear with him losing it, but I think it is deep down just driven by the greed to take it all.
Yeah, that too. I mean, like I'll frequently like think of the scene where he encounters Yoda, and then he says like, "If so powerful you are, why leave?" You know, like he tries to run in that fight. He tried to run. You know, like that wasn't just an act. Like it was like he didn't want to fight Yoda because he's like, "I'm afraid I'm gonna lose this fight," and he barely won. So it was like. It's always been like that. Like he's always been like the guy that's just like lived in fear of the Jedi, and that's why he wants to get rid of them all.
Since we're talking about that moment, I just gotta quickly say the best shot is when they're in Palpatine's office, and I think the Force energy rebounds. It's either that or Yoda does a Force push, and that's when Palpatine like flips over his chair. Because he has robes and legs straight there, and it just looks so ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's the best shot.
It's so good. And like I think it's also up for kind of speculation as to whether or not he was pretending to be afraid when Mace Windu disarms him.
Yeah, I always wondered about that.
Yeah,
too.
and that one's always like,
don't let him kill me.
Yeah, right. Like it's like, was he acting? Was it legit? But if it's legit, like, you know, he was really pleading there. And then when Vader finally tosses him down that hole, he was like screaming all the way down.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he's a very courageous guy at all. I think he's an afraid kind of person, you know, and he's a guy who has so much power, and yet you'd think a guy with so much power would not be afraid, right? But it's actually the rebels, like it's like the people like Andor who are so not afraid, you know, like they like face death in the face and just run to it because it's what they believe in. You know, they have like something else about
it's for a cause.
It's for a cause, right? Like and he has nothing to fight for. Like he's just got power. He's only fighting for himself.
He's accumulated so much power.
Yeah, exactly. So
and
I think
now
like
he went from accumulating it to just trying to keep it.
Right, exactly, and he lives in fear in that sense. And so when it comes to Yuuzhan Vong, I think there's probably a good support for that theory that you were just talking about. When it comes to like why did he build the empire in the expanded universe, one of those reasons could be, well, he's been living in fear of something greater than himself that can, you know, destroy planets and like come in and wipe us out. Like, you know, like, of course, you know, yeah, he's the kind of guy that would probably build up an empire to fight that, you know, so that he can keep his power.
Yeah. I mean, he is also a very like arrogant person.
Yeah.
I mean, like his lightsabers are made out of electrum, which only Jedi Masters are allowed to use. And it's fully made out of that gold material because he's that cocky with his power. Yeah,
exactly. He just wants to show it off.
Is that canon?
It is actually. Yeah.
Cool.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mace Windu's the kind of like the gold at the top of it's electrum, and only masters of like a certain form of I think Form 7 are allowed to use electrum on their sabers. But his were cast entirely out of electrum.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he's got like those.
He's got two of them.
Little gold.
Yeah.
So slick. Anyways, okay, so the new Jedi Order was kind of crazy back in the EU, you know, like Yuuzhan Vong, alien race coming in, fight the whole galaxy kind of thing. Chewbacca dies, all that sort of thing. In the new Disney canon, of course, like it's been a bit of a different trajectory with the stories. And I guess what we have coming at us from the new Jedi
parallels.
Order.
We still have Clone Palpatine.
Yeah, we still got Clones Palpatine. Yeah, don't remind me.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Again.
No way.
Return from the EU.
We've got two movies coming out. There's one that's definitely confirmed that's coming out in 2 years. It's called Starfighter with Ryan Gosling and
Ryan Gosling, really?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know it was Ryan
this
Gosling.
was like news back in Celebration Japan a few months ago, back in April, I guess.
Yep, they had him on set and everything.
Yeah.
Like stage.
So they're shooting.
I've been busy
in fall.
Yeah, no kidding.
Production starts this fall in a couple months. Like the script is greenlit, ready to go. It's happening sooner than the Rey movie that they announced a few years ago, which is kind of the weird
Really?
part. Yeah.
Damn.
Because the Rey movie, they keep losing their writer and the things keep shifting on that front. So I think that's why they haven't fully figured that movie out. But that's the other movie that we're going to be getting that takes place in this time period is the post Episode 9 Rey movie that eventually we might see.
Poor Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
Done so dirty.
Yeah.
If you've seen some of her other stuff, she's a fantastic actress.
Oh, yeah.
She does such great work.
100%.
I think everyone on those sets were just done dirty.
100%.
So,
You don't need to remind me, man. Like, I totally believe it. So yeah, we got 2 movies coming out.
I always feel worse for Finn. But anyway,
Finn,
John,
yeah.
oh man,
Oh.
John, man, yeah. So anyway, TV shows, nothing on the forefront of the new Jedi Order era, but we have had a few books in recent history that have actually dropped a few hints as to what we can expect, from this new Jedi Order, because like, I think the biggest question that episode 9 left us with at the very end was sort of the same question of what Rey thought of the resistance in episode 8 was like, how do we rebuild from this? Right. And she has the lightsaber, the broken lightsaber in her hands. Like, how do we come back from this?
she has the Jedi texts.
Yeah, she had the Jedi texts, all that stuff, and episode 9 sort of posed the same question, except like the real question being like, how do we rebuild the Jedi from this? Like Rey is now the last Jedi, like she's it at that.
You think they'll title it that?
I think.
Here we go again.
yeah, who knows? Yeah. But yeah, she's legitimately probably the last Jedi in the galaxy at that point in time, and it got me
Luke
thinking.
was at one point, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
or I guess is that still true? Because Ahsoka's around.
Well, technically,
I don't know if
Luke
she
wasn't
is
the
around.
last Jedi because like Ahsoka was around, so was Ezra,
yeah.
and then by extension,
Oh, you're talking about like OT, like original
Yeah.
trilogy era. Yeah. There's Kanan,
There's a few
Ezra,
around. Yeah, and
eventually.
then
Yeah,
but what about like right after like Return of the Jedi?
Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis, yeah.
Right after the Return of the Jedi, not many. I mean, like very, very few. Right, like Ahsoka being one of them. One of the few. Sabine now, technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Ezra.
Right. So really just what we've seen
Luke.
from the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, pretty much what we've seen from the Disney Plus series. I think that's all
Yeah.
that's left, right?
I mean, there's probably still like stragglers out in the galaxy that
There
are
always
out
seems
there.
to be more
Yeah.
Jedi that survive Order 66.
It's the last
Pop-
Jedi.
popping
Oh wait,
up.
no, there's also that guy. And now we're on
Yeah.
the last Jedi. No,
Yeah.
wait, there's another
Yeah.
5 guys over there.
That's already such a huge change from the EU. Because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Luke was the only one, and he had to rebuild it. And that's where a lot of like the Jedi Academy games and everything
Yeah.
was based off of.
So there was a book that, it came to my attention a few years ago, but I hadn't read it until recently. And ironically enough, one of the first guests that we've ever had on this podcast was shout out to Ian in England. We've had Ian on a number of times for book reviews and this and that. He frequently also chats on the Star Wars podcast, and great guy. And he came on as a guest for talking about a book called Force Collector. And this was back in 2019 when The Rise of Skywalker was just about to hit theaters. And they did, much like the other 2 movies in the sequel trilogy, had a literature marketing push with a few things that came out that year before the movie with a subtitle of Journey to Star Wars, and then either The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, etc. Right? Like stuff like that. And so this particular book fits in the Rise of Skywalker Journey to Star Wars kind of sub-series that they did, along with like 2 other books. It was a very small push. They had like Resistance Reborn, and then there was like another one about Rey and Finn and Poe and stuff like that. This one was really different though, because it didn't take place between episode 8 and 9 like the other books did. It takes place before episode 7, and it's like 2 years before episode 7 when this book takes place. And it features characters that you've never heard of or seen of before. And I always thought I always wanted to read it, because it was like, it fascinated me that why would this be relevant? Like, why would this be relevant to episode 9, right? And finally I read it, and finally I figured it out. This book is about the protagonist called, his name's Kar Nuxin, but you can just call him Kar. And he is a natural-born psychometry force-sensitive guy. So, like, what that means is, like, nobody's taught him how to use the force, but he gets splitting headaches when he touches something that might be relevant to someone somewhere. and he gets like a vision through the Force as to the memory of that object. Kind of like how Quinlan Vos is able to do this in the Clone Wars. Cal Kestis does it in the video games. Now Ahsoka can do it all of a sudden. He has just this ability to do it, and he has no idea what it is. He comes from a planet and a family that has told him nothing about his origins, who his relatives are. Nobody even believes
It's Quinlan's son.
Dude, nobody even believes that the Jedi exist on this planet. Like he is of the stage in this world that he's from, that the Jedi are a myth. Maybe they never happened. Stuff like that, right? So he goes on this adventure with a friend of his from school, who is this comes from a wealthy family, and it turns out that her dad is actually a officer in the First Order.
Damn.
But apparently not a bad guy. He's just, that's his job.
They never are.
Yeah.
Who can be bad guy without being bad guy?
Right. So his daughter basically lets him use one of their family ships, and he goes, bopping around the galaxy to different planets with his kind of cobbled together medical droid, which it's basically a protocol droid that he looks after Carr whenever he faints from one of these visions or whatever. He also wears gloves that his grandmother made him so that he doesn't touch an object and, faint or anything like that, because it happens a lot. And he starts to use his ability to try and piece together the past. So the whole idea of this book is that he's going around trying to find old Jedi artifacts to recover the memory of the Jedi Order so that he can piece together in his mind what actually happened, because he believes that the Jedi did exist. And his grandmother has told him what she is allowed to tell him based on what his parents told her not to tell him. And his parents are basically like, stay out of that stuff. You don't touch it. You don't want to know, all that kind of stuff. So we see some really cool moments in this book, like him finding the staff of the guy from Utapau who originally greeted Obi-Wan Kenobi when he gets to
specific.
That's so.
and he rehears that same conversation that you hear in the movie, if you have warriors, now is the time, like that whole drawn out thing, right?
They should have done it was the one of those little alien dudes gassing up Obi-Wan's ship.
Anakin's pod racer, the one who gets farted on in the face, maybe.
Oh my goodness! No, yeah, like little Greedo.
Yeah. Carr also encounters some familiar character. He does have an encounter with Maz Kanata, who obviously is supposedly an intimidating character when you hear that she's a pirate lord, and then she feels nothing like it when you meet her, right? She feels like everyone's grandmother or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of familiar characters to sort of this adjacent degree, but no direct legacy characters that you would be familiar with. And it keeps it very interesting in that sense, because you're basically looking, for the first time ever, you're looking at sort of this historical perspective of the Jedi story from somebody who knows nothing about it. So it's almost like how they approach the story of Harry Potter. It's like you're this innocent kid who knows nothing about this world, and you're being brought into it for the first time, and you're seeing it through Harry's eyes. And that's basically who Carr for Star Wars. So it was very, very cool reading that part of the book. And that's the first 3/4 of the book. And then after he discovers enough of his story, or of the story of the Jedi, he just starts to discover more about himself, and he starts to discover more about his family's legacy. And this is where it starts to get into his family legacy, like who his great grandfather is, and basically goes to where this person might be and everything. And I don't fully want to spoil it for you guys, but this person was a Jedi. It is not someone
I feel we're gonna have to just talk about it. Put the spoiler button.
I just put the spoiler button. Okay, all right. There we go.
All right, you've been warned. If you plan to read the book, skip ahead to
the last page.
Yeah.
So
timestamp something or other.
It turns out his great grandfather was a Jedi. Was a Jedi, and has not been a Jedi for quite some time. He is
Obi-Wan
given up. He's basically how Obi-Wan was when the Purge came, but this guy gave up before the Purge. This guy gave up before the Clone Wars.
Oh, wow.
That's how old this guy is, and he's still alive. His grandmother's dead, but his great grandfather is still alive.
He's human.
Yeah, he's human.
I don't know about that.
I think the Force has blessed him with long life.
Was it Dumbledore?
He's like 100
Well,
something years
Dumbledore's.
old. Yeah. But what's crazy is like I think that like Carr at this point is now like a fanboy of the Jedi. Like he's like, oh man, like.
Well, you're not going to say who it is?
No, I'll say it.
But you just put the spoiler button.
Well, no, I don't like. You wouldn't know who he is. Like I can tell you his name, but
He's
it's not
building
gonna
it
matter.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, like I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan at some point did say that like some Jedi can meditate for like weeks on end without eating any food.
Yeah.
Because the Force sustains them.
Yeah.
So I mean, a Jedi master of that
prolong
caliber
your
and that
life.
age can just keep it going.
Yeah.
Also, so this guy is like low key like Rogue from the X-Men. He wears the gloves, doesn't touch anything he's not
Right. It's
supposed
like,
to.
yeah, totally. 100%. That's kind of the
Good call.
idea, I think. Yeah. So this guy, he's not important. Like the guy, the great grandfather, he's not a character that I had ever heard of before.
He's like High Republic or something.
Mace Windu.
He's just a Jedi. He just used to be a Jedi, and he gave up being a Jedi when the Republic and the Jedi Order started to merge with the politics. And this was before the Clone Wars. Like he left a long time ago, you know. So
Sounds like he should have been Qui-Gon's master.
yeah, like he has one last kind of chat with Carr before he basically just drops dead, like and in his own place kind of thing. And he like lives in the boonies on some planet that no one's ever heard of kind of thing, right? And
It's KOTOR.
he gives
See it.
so Carr
Focus
finds he finds a packet of Jedi robes from the prequel times. He takes the lightsaber, of course, that this great grandfather still had, and then they blow up the house at the request of his grandmother, who said, if you ever go and find your great grandfather, like leave nothing behind if there's anything there. And then they go off. So
Okay, Grandma, we'll just nuke Great Grandpa's house.
yeah, exactly. I'm very much like streamlining it here for you so you get the idea of the story. But basically now there's this guy with this ability, and he now knows the full story, the full truth of the Empire, the betrayal of Palpatine and the Jedi and everything like that. He knows all that stuff. He knows that there were two Skywalkers, one from one time, one from later. He knows that one of them might still be alive, which at that point before The Force Awakens, Luke is. And he has a lightsaber, and he also has, I forget, he's got a few other little knickknacks that he's like collected along the way, and now the memories that come with it. And I just thought to myself, like at the end of the book, he has this moment of realization that he's not meant to become a Jedi. Like he like fully knows this. He like fully comes to accept this is not my path. Like I'm not meant to wield a lightsaber and, you know, like take down the bad guys and stuff like that. But he does come to accept his role of what he realizes he's meant to do, and that is to collect. It's like, and that's why the book's called Force Collector. And it's like this idea that he is basically the new, like Jocasta new, basically. Like this guy,
He's the new archivist.
he's the new archivist, yeah. And he is basically like been put on a journey, I think, through the Force to like to salvage what came before, so that they can teach a whole new generation of Jedi.
Man, it just dawned on me now. So you know in Force Awakens, right at the beginning, Poe is talking to that guy in the hut, like before the First Order comes down and like burns everything.
Right.
I always felt like I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he's from the family line that
He's
like
the Church of the Force or something. Like it's
I thought this family like created, like he's like a descendant of the family that created all the Starlings or
Oh,
whatever.
he's a descendant of the family that did a lot of star mapping.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like they were like the High Republic's version. His family is actually in the High Republic stories, and that family was known to the Santekas.
Santeca, thank you.
Yeah,
That's how. There's a roundabout way for me to get his name. So
Yeah.
I always felt like the character that was Santeca should have been a character like you're describing.
Okay,
Someone who
all right.
like
That would have been
was
neat.
like a Force collector, had like wasn't a Jedi, but had kind of morally what you're describing through basically like archaeology, whatever, has now become like wise in this, and that's why Poe and them
Yeah.
are going to talk to him and
Yeah.
get information.
Right. Yeah, and like That's why I love the story, because it was like it had a lot of things in it that I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like it was just a really good, interesting book that was like not about any main character, that actually hinted something as to what's to come, you know. And it got me thinking, like, what does this new era look like for the Disney canon? Like, what is it going to be? You know, how is it going to be told now that we've seen the outcome of the sequel trilogy? Now that we've been able to like take a look at a book like this, which kind of hints like, you know, like maybe there is somebody that's going to be able to help Rey, you know, piece together, you know, a new order, right?
From the past,
based on the past. And, you know, like what would, like Rey's never worn proper Jedi robes, right? No. But like now Carr has Jedi robes from Qui-Gon's time. So like, is it going to come full circle? Are we going to get a new Jedi Order movie that, because he's collected something like this and knows how they should be, like, is that what it's going to be like? Is it going to be actually like kind of a new Jedi Order, like how you might expect a Jedi Order to look like based on the prequels, you know? Or is it going to be radically different? You know, are we going to be like little shack in the woods kind of thing, you know?
It's a good question. It gives them an excuse to go back to that style, which I think would be cool.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. It's a good excuse to roll back the, you know.
The clock?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like what they should do with Rey is what like kind of Luke's original story was in the EU, but like basically radicalizing the Jedi. Not radicalizing, but like accepting love and accepting partners and accepting attachments and like all that, and like really balancing the Jedi's lives.
That's what I was talking about last episode. We got to bring back Mara Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Rey should do that. Like.
Too bad Kylo's gone, right?
What would you like to see from a new Jedi Order movie that's like, you know, now that we have a few little details of like, you know, the pieces coming together here, what would you like to see as far as a villain?
Oh.
Like, assuming that we only get one movie.
Right?
Like,
that's why they brought Palpatine back.
Right. Like what if
Palpatine returns?
A third time.
Again. How does he keep doing this?
And he made a bigger Death Star.
Here's another thing to like keep in mind is that as the Star Wars stories evolve and grow, and they're running out of room to tell more stories within the New Republic era, as well as definitely trying to cram stuff in between episode 3 and 4 is very limited space, right? And you know, the main 6-part George Lucas story, I mean, that's always been a complete narrative. And so like, I guess like what Disney's trying to do is like they're using the sequel trilogy as their version of a original trilogy that they're now able to follow up on with a whole new story that's radically different. Kind of like how the prequels was very radically different, I think, than what people were expecting who had come off the back of Return of the Jedi and movies like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Like, you know, going into a planet like Coruscant and seeing what the Jedi Temple looked like, and
everything's all clean and pristine.
Yeah, everything's clean and pristine. The robes are different.
Super dirty in the original trilogy and
rough.
Yeah,
and the lightsabers are different. The designs of ships and everything are so different, and the galaxy expands as those designs kind of fit into the story later. But
and
like
the Jedi are really political.
Right, but like, what would you expect now that we know, okay, this is what the galaxy looks like now. We've got colorful holograms. We've got Rey, who has her limited knowledge of what she does. We've got characters like Carr, who are floating around collecting bits and pieces of lore from the past. We've got people like Poe and Finn, right, who are probably going to be around, but Finn's now recently discovered he's got powers, and like, you know, like what does Rey's Jedi Order look like? Like, and what would you like to like see as a villain if this movie is like the pilot, assuming that it's like because they haven't announced we're going to do a whole new trilogy, you know, like they just said we're going to do one movie. Like, what if this is the transitionary movie to like whatever's to come after? You know, I
would like something a little different. I really liked, I think it's Death Troopers.
The zombie stories?
The zombie stories, yeah. I think it'd be cool. It'd be different. It doesn't have to be the main villain for the whole arc, but maybe for the first movie, they could find like a Sith temple, maybe like wherever they set up. Rey is setting up the new Jedi Order, kind of like the Jedi Academy games, which is kind of what I feel like it would be like. One of them could stumble across some Sith hidden temple thing, whatever, and accidentally release some virus thing that becomes it's like basically like a zombie movie. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. And they would like get off planet and something they got to try to contain. I also love the hive mind aspect of
Yeah,
Death
that was
Troopers.
really cool.
Yeah.
Project Blackwing is an excellent story.
Man, it was so good. This is what I really wanted the Drengir to be,
Yeah.
but they didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, I think something that would be interesting is kind of what Rey is doing and what you've described with like with Carr. I feel like it would kind of be something kind of like modern archaeology where we find a lot of like old artifacts and old bones, and our general first impressions are never quite what they are. And it's not till years and like later on when we find more things that piece together those full puzzles of, oh, that wasn't a head, that was a hip bone. This is, I don't know, a different kind of dinosaur altogether. I feel like Rey and some other people are going to start finding all of these Jedi artifacts and like collecting them, and like they'll make that new order, but then at the same time people will start finding like the old Sith ones. And I think there's more or less going to be kind of
You're like a Sith cult?
like a Sith cult, kind of like
That's
I was
just
gonna
like
say
the Knights of Ren.
Cultists?
yeah. I was gonna say
Well,
kind of
they're
like
more
Indiana
like a
Jones vibe.
Boy band.
Knights of Ren sucked.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say like kind of like Indiana Jones vibe of like trying like these people trying to like raid old Sith temples, and there's definitely gonna be someone trying to like loot Vader's old temple, and there's such things like what is it? The Mask of starts with an M. It's like Mondo or something.
Oh yeah, it was in the Vader comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like an old Sith Lord's mask still contained his essence, and when Vader put it on, like that guy took over his body, and Vader like saw the vision of him, and like they
Momin.
conversed. Momin, yes, thank you.
There's a similar mask in the other novel we read with Lando.
Really?
It's the same mask.
It was the same one.
Yeah.
Oh, same mask.
Same mask.
But yeah, I could definitely see someone putting on like the mask of Momin, or like
They
artifacts
could
of
use
other-
that as
Yeah.
like the cult leader thing, right?
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happened in that Lando book. It's just they
Yeah.
stopped it before anything came of it.
That's a great idea. Like maybe someone with force potential who all of a sudden their abilities are amplified because the spirit of that Sith Lord like takes over.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
knows
that's
what to
like
do.
guiding the cult through him.
Right. And that would make a good because my fear is that any worthy adversary for someone who they ramped her skill level up so fast for Rey is that no villain is ever going to be able to take her on, So like my fear is like they make a Rey movie where she's just able to conquer all,
Well, then honestly, what you have to do is in the first movie, you have to handicap her somehow. Something has to happen to
Yeah.
her where she loses her potential.
Or I
Right.
think a good villain for her is not necessarily a person that she can defeat, but like the idea of like this collective of people that want to revive the Sith and like kind of worship their idea. Like she can't kill a cult without fundamentally killing their ideals.
Right.
And no matter how powerful she is, she can't kill an idea.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, like it's interesting to think about because I wonder what people used to think about what episode 1 was going to be like, like when Return of the Jedi ended and they're like, hey, how did this all begin? And it's a similar structure, except we don't know how it ends. And it could go on forever, but we don't know how it ends, but we know the start of it. So like, I guess like, what is it? What kind of pattern do we have that we're able to kind of anticipate? What does this world look like? We're going to get a really fun Starfighter movie with Ryan Gosling, and that's going to have nothing to do with Rey whatsoever. But
Unless it does.
unless it does. I think like what my thought keeps coming back to is some of the setup that's been done with Ahsoka, and characters like Balin and Shin, who are like a million miles away from.
You talking on the planet Ezra was on?
Yeah, on Peridia. And if those characters are not completely resolved in season 2 of Ahsoka, which I assume they will be, but if they're not, is it possible maybe they can be brought back as the villains for Rey's time period later? Because that's only like
I mean, it's
40
definitely
years
possible.
later, right?
Like I would say at this point they'd have to find something on that planet to make them stronger villains.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, like they're getting in some pretty crazy stuff with like those Mortis statues, like on the ancient witch planet. Like, I mean, like this is a like insane level of like, deep stuff going on over there.
True.
You know what I mean? Like,
And Balin did already keep pace with Ahsoka, so he is competent.
he is definitely competent.
His
Like
lightsaber skills.
his real age, at least up until the point that Ray Stevenson sadly passed away, he was 58 years old. So if we count,
Pretty young in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
totally, yeah. So like if we count forward with how many years between Ahsoka and the Rey movie takes place, I think I would probably rough estimate that at 40 years, because like it's 29 years between 6 and 7. It's like 2 years total for episodes 7 through 9, and then the Rey movie would be maybe like 5 to something years, like between 5 and 10 years after episode 9 kind of thing. So yeah, I'd say like maybe like 40 years, because I think they said Starfighter takes place like 2 to 5 years after episode 9. So yeah, like we're thinking like 40 years on top of 58, so it's like 108 years old. I think he can do it. Like
Might be stretching it a little bit.
yeah, like I mean,
unless time passes slower on Peridia.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But and then Shin, I mean, she's like, she's much younger than Balin, and she's still on Peridia too. So if they don't resolve her character arc, maybe she could come back as some sort of weird, like, like anti-Jedi, like witch lady or
30
something.
or whatever.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that someone's like a magical force witch lady.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
Like they literally use them
Mother
in the Ahsoka
Talzin.
series.
Yeah, a lot of potential there. Anyway, what other stories can you think of that we've kind of been given little cookie crumbs to give us some hints? Anyone got any ideas?
I'm trying to think what I've read in the sequel trilogy era.
Well, this is kind of not in that stream, but I mean, in the Ahsoka series, we saw like the magic of Dathomir, but it kind of went nowhere. But I feel like that could also be something they could use in the future.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe Rey has to conquer the Night Sisters,
Yeah.
like they're coming back or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
those 3 ladies must have been there for hundreds of years, if not thousands.
Yeah.
And they have zombie slaves, so we all win.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless there's a lot more of them that we don't know about. Maybe we were only shown 3, but maybe there's a lot more somewhere else that maybe they're because they kind of treated that whole organization of people as a like they came and settled into Dathomir, and like they weren't originally from around here, so to speak, right?
That's what
Like
it seemed like, yeah.
yeah, so maybe there's pockets of them kind of elsewhere, and it might be this growing threat of like sorcery, coming in to conquer the galaxy or something like that, right? Like
We know there's at least one on Endor.
a witch on Endor. Oh yeah, well, you thought
for Endor.
Ewok Adventures?
That's right.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, she's dead.
You never watched Ewok Adventures?
No.
They were like straight to VHS released Star Wars movies, or were they TV specials? I think they were straight to VHS.
I think one of them got it. Maybe they had a very small. No, I think they're direct TV. I think.
Is there a Night Sister in Ewok Adventures?
She was like the original proto Night Sister, kind of like how Boba Fett was like the proto Stormtrooper. So there was like a character in one of those Ewok movies that was like a shape shifting. She could turn into a crow with a magic ring, and
Interesting.
otherwise she didn't really do anything. Like she was just like an advisor, but she was kind of like a spy that had some magical transforming powers, But in the EU, they kind of retroactively made her a Night Sister, because it's the only thing that would have made sense once the later stories were, told. It's like, okay, where does this character kind of fit? Like a magic ring that turns you into a crow. Like, so people just call her a Night Sister because it makes sense.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't really make sense. Like, why would you turn into a crow? I mean, like, of all things.
I like crows that are clever and like shiny things.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, anyway, that's the spiel for today.
I'm trying to think if there's any characters that would be in the Resistance show.
The Resistance. Yeah.
Remember
The Resistance animated series.
Kaz.
It'd be cool.
Kaz could show up.
Could be neat to see. Yeah. See, like, that's the thing is, like, I feel like between episode 8 and 9, there was like
weird
so much
Sithy woman in that. Like a woman who's like collecting like Sith artifacts.
Is there really? I totally forget about that.
Yeah, there is. Because it's on the, I guess there's only 2 seasons. So it's the second season.
Dude, my thing might come true.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a Jedi collector and there's a Sith collector.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you could try to look her up if you want. Because, man, I haven't watched that show in a long time.
Star Wars Resistance.
I was gonna watch Resistance, but
It's good if you like early 2000s, like really animatic cartoons, like with the early 3D cartoons from like 2003,
Like
from like Teletoon.
like 16, like that kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that just dates me.
You and me both, man. That old Hot Wheels show. Oh no, it was
the old Hot Wheels show.
It wasn't Hot Wheels. It was I think it was Matchbox, the Hot Wheels competitor.
No, there was a really good Hot Wheels cartoon too. There was a couple like really cool movies.
Okay.
So the planet you're thinking of is Ashas Re, a forested planet located on the outer rim. Its sole inhabited outpost was situated next to a Jedi temple that had been built to seal the power of a Sith temple beneath it. During the First Order Resistance War, traveler Mika Gray came to Ashas Re seeking a relic hidden in the Sith temple, intending to keep it out of the First Order's hands, but became trapped inside the temple as a result until she was found and released by the Colossus Resistance members Kaz, CB-23, Ela Kel for 2 days later. And in the picture, she's holding up like this triangular
Sith holocron.
Of course, yeah. So
It's always holocron.
this person's her name is Mika Gray. So
Mika Gray. It sounds like she maybe isn't collecting Sith artifacts per se, but she found one.
she's a
Maybe
fearless,
corrupted her.
fearless, inventive, old treasure hunter of sorts whose aim is less about riches and more about keeping destructive and powerful artifacts out of the hands of the First Order Supreme Leader Kylo Ren.
Indiana Jones.
After one particular 2.5-year search, the planet-hopping
This belongs
archaeologist
far away from
discovers
you.
a Sith relic. Yeah. So, but she destroys it to shake the First Order operatives off her tail. This might be why she prefers to work alone. So she looks like a villain, but she's actually kind of
That's what I remember her looking kind of dodgy. That's why I assumed she was villainous.
yeah. No, she's actually kind of a hero.
Can I say it is kind of ridiculous that like in the modern era of Star Wars that a lot of people don't think that the Jedi were real.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I think
Like-
that's kind of like it's one of those things that the Clone Wars, as big as it was, it didn't reach everywhere, I guess, right? And some of those worlds, because
There's a lot of worlds. There's like thousands of planets.
And if you look at the sequel trilogy story, it's weirdly mostly in the Outer Rim. Like the entire war between the First Order and the Resistance is like kind of strangely just out in the Outer Rim area.
No, that kind of makes sense to me because then the inner and mid rim, they're just propagandized, which is what Palpatine's kind of doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish they just I hope at some point they clarify just what's happening elsewhere in the galaxy, like while most of this stuff's going on, because we have kind of a very like simple, rough idea, but it's still not very clear at times, like what exactly is going on at Coruscant, like at this time, you know, like during the Last Jedi, like what's some schmuck doing, you know, on the at the big, you know, pavilion that we see in Andor outside the Senate building, you know, like.
Do you wish they had actually blown up Coruscant instead of that fill-in planet?
See, on the one hand, like I think it would have been
It would be interesting.
a more interesting story choice.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like it would have only made sense not to if they planned to use Coruscant again. And I think they wanted, like maybe they wanted to leave that door open to use it again. So like there's another theory. Like what if the new Jedi Order era goes back to Coruscant to try and resurrect the order within the actual Jedi Temple?
Speaking of the Jedi Temple in Coruscant, can I say it's also ridiculous that they keep building Jedi temples on top of Sith temples and then get surprised that they get
they do.
every time. It's like, guys, there is clearly a formula you are following that is going wrong every time.
Yeah.
Why do you keep doing this?
Yeah. It's
Insanity.
weird. Yeah.
'Cause that's the case on Coruscant as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was going to be a Clone Wars arc about that, and then the show was canceled. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Where's Dave when you need him?
yeah, I don't know
Fill in the blanks.
exactly. All right, I think we've reached our time for this subject, but I came across one small little thing just to close us off here. One small little thing earlier today. It was some released images from the upcoming shows that we have to look forward to.
Like the Darth Maul one? Or?
Yeah, one of them is, and that's because if you didn't know, San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now. So we had the first look at Darth Maul from Darth Maul Shadow Lord.
He looks
So
exactly like he's from Rebels.
I think they actually
Very close.
It's like
it's a little more detailed. I feel like it's the model from Rebels, but they're using the textures from Clone Wars.
yeah, I
That's
think
what it
they
looks
kind of
like.
found a nice happy medium in there, which is good. So yeah, so we got a first look at Maul in the
Maul's
Shadow
got a
Lord.
snatched waist.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah, it was.
He got new robot legs, much more fit and sleek.
Yeah. Maul's been doing them robot squats.
Aerobics every morning.
We also got a good look at Ezra Bridger from Ahsoka season 2. He is wearing what looks to be like a New Republic jacket of some kind.
Certainly looks like Ezra, that's for sure.
Well, it's because it is.
No, but I mean like the animated Ezra.
Who's this guy that looks like Ezra? Huh.
I just mean it's very well casted, and they
Guy
did
looks,
his hair and his costume
guy
perfectly.
looks just like Iman.
Hey, he kind of looks like that guy. That what's his name? That
Star
Ezra
Wars
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what the heck?
Looks like someone from Peridia.
They should have hired that guy to play Ezra instead of whatever guy played him in season 1 or what.
So many recastings. This is Ahsoka show.
Well, they've already recasted it. They've sadly had to recast one, so you know.
Yeah.
That was the joke.
Big moment in season 2. I do wonder how that's gonna make the season 2 feel.
I'm kind of worried about it. I mean, I do like this actor. 'Cause I remember from Game of Thrones, but it's gonna be weird.
It is gonna be weird. I mean, I thought it was extra weird that they recasted Bail Organa for Andor, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a weird one.
I don't know. I'm unsure about it. You know. It's,
Are you gonna fix it with AI face replacement?
oh,
for
dude,
your
somebody already
personal
has, and it
copy?
was so bad.
Of
Somebody
course.
did like
Somebody did it.
like a 6-hour job, and it was like, dude, like at that point, I'd rather the guy who just got recasted. You know.
It'd be funny if they just replaced it with the 3D version from Rebels. Just right
Just
over
an
top.
animated guy in a live action.
It's just a 2D guy on screen.
That's so good. All right. Well, thank you both for popping on as usual. Thanks, Francis, for coming by and lending your XP
Thanks for
from
having me.
the. Yeah. What? Just name one thing real quick. What if you could keep anything from the EU New Jedi Order sort of era? What would it be?
Darth Talon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she from New Jedi Order? I thought it was
Pretty
like,
sure.
Yeah. He
All
is.
right, sure. Even if she's not, whatever. Let's just throw it in there. I think she is showing up in the Shadow Lord animated show.
Oh, sweet.
You might
Dreams
be, you might
really
be
do
onto
come
something.
true.
Maybe it's going to come full circle. Maybe what they would have done for their episode 7, 8, 9 with George's story,
They can
they're
do
going to
it in
do
their
for the
ball.
Rey movie,
Okay.
just because they found the ins and outs of resurrecting Maul, bringing
Right.
back talent, doing it in the animated show instead of the sequels, because obviously they went with a different story, and now they're going to do it all over again in another trilogy of movies. How crazy would that be?
Come full circle.
And then George just comes in. Yeah, I was right all along. I was right. I should have listened. My story is the best.
Should have listened in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm a bastard. All right.
Metachlorians. We're going to shrink down to the size of metachlorians. We're going to go in the bloodstream. It's episode 9.
Yeah, they just don't listen. Get it for fans. All right. We'll catch you guys later.
Oh no, we're in Sebulba's bloodstream. What are we going to do? Oh no. Poodle.
All right. May the force be with you all, and we'll see you in the next episode of Star Wars Escape Pod. Stay tuned for those Cantina banters.